Ryuji saw the words Level 1 on the palm of his hand. He thought that it wasn't there before he entered the dungeon. He casted a spell to disable it, but it has no effect. The guards overheard him casting the spell, so they tried to investigate where the sound was. This prompted Ryuji to cast his transparency spell again to hide from the guards. When the guards reached the area where Ryuji was, they didn't see anything, so they thought it was just their imagination. Ryuji thought that the transparency was really convenient. He then overheard the guards saying that, "This cave's sudden appearance and the resources rapidly dying, they wonder what might happen to their country's future." After eavesdropping in their conversation, Ryuji decided to teleport back to his home, but he forgot to do something. He forgot to drop by at the convenience store to buy a bento. But he is too lazy to go out now, so he just laid on his bed, drooling his hunger away. Then the doorbell rang. It was Kayoko. She brought some food over Ryuji's house. Kayoko prepared the food she brought over as appetizing as possible, and Ryuji said that it looks delicious. As they sat together to eat, Ryuji couldn't hold back his hunger and shouted, "Itadakimasu!" Ryuji started gobbling up the food, while Kayoko told him to eat slow. Ryuji praised her mom's cooking. Kayoko asked how's the salad and added that she made it. Ryuji said that it was decent, and the mayonnaise that was used was just store-bought. Kayoko replied back that, what kind of review was that even though it was true? After that they said their thanks for the meal. Kayoko thought that since it has been a while, why don't they play a game together? But Ryuji told her that he is busy. Kayoko asked what he was busy about, and Ryuji showed her his palm. Kayoko looked at confusion. It seems like she can't see what was in Ryuji's palm. Ryuji asked if he can see Kayoko's palm, and he saw that there was nothing written on it. Kayoko blushed as Ryuji touched her hand, so she pulled her hand away and asked, "What was that for?" Moments later, they said their goodbyes. Ryuji thought that the level on his palm was probably related to the dungeon. He thought that, does this level equate to the adventurer's level? If it was, then it was weird because he beat the Demon King with the level that he has. He went to bed thinking that there's too little information to even try to understand. Then he thought that he might try going to an upper-level dungeon. But for now, he should just sleep, since he was tired from exploring the dungeon. Later that night, a group of military personnel entered the dungeon. Their captain shouted to not let their guard down, and added that they won't be able to have electricity or gunpowder if it wasn't for the dungeon. One of his men thought that, isn't their captain a bit too scared? That with so many people, they would definitely be fine. A drop of water fell onto his helmet as he looked up. A huge slime suddenly falls onto him and immediately started drowning him. They surrounded the slime and started to attack it. One of them got attacked, but he was able to dodge it. As the slime started to slow down, the captain told them to destroy the core. After hitting the core with a crossbow bolt, the slime started to lose its form, releasing the guy that was inside it. The captain reminded them to collect all the loot that was dropped by the slime and to watch their surroundings. The captain then asked who was attacked. The guy replied that it was Sato, and that he was crushed by the slime which caused his death. The captain prayed for him, while one of his men asked if they should continue. The captain thought that they have 17 magic stones in total, and there are 12 SDF and 10 firemen. So, he made a sound decision to fall back and retreat. Few minutes later in the captain's quarters, the captain asked him if he was the one who said that a level appeared on his hand. He showed it to the captain, but there wasn't anything. The captain removed him from the case and told him to take some counseling, take his salary, and get some rest. But before he left, the captain asked him what was the number written on his palm. The guy said that it was level 2. The captain muttered to himself that he must be a level 3 fighter. The next day, Kayoko approached Ryuji so they can walk together to school. Kayoko remembered that. Ryuji asked her about the number on the palm of their hands. Kayoko said that it shows to the people who went inside the dungeon even once. It was adventurer level and job class. They continued their conversation, and Kayoko said that America has the highest number of people that has number on their palms. It is said that they have more than 20 people. Kayoko then added that in Japan, they only have 2 police officers, 5 special defense forces, and 1 firefighter. There's several more people that claims they have a level, but the government can't fully confirm it. It was just as Ryuji thought. The number on his palm was really an adventurer level. But why was it at level 1? He thought it may have been a bug, since there was no job class on it either. Kayoko then said that she also looked at her palm, since it would have been nice to have an adventurer level. She added that many people look up to adventurers because they can earn money, and moreover, they sound pretty cool. But Ryuji answered unenthusiastically. As Ryuji entered his classroom, he wondered why was everyone so noisy today. It seems that one of his classmates, Yokohama, had the characteristics of being an adventurer. So the other students were gathering, asking things about being an adventurer. The other student said that he also wants to confirm whether he has the characteristics of being an adventurer, but there was a new law that prohibits entry until they graduate middle school. The bell rang, and their class started. The teacher said that Yokohama should go to the principal's office because there was someone from the Metropolitan Police Department looking for him. His other classmates looked at him with envy. The teacher proceeded to start the class, but Ryuji interrupted, saying that he needs to go to the bathroom. Then he added that it was going to be a big one, so it might take a while. Seated of a bathroom stall, he casted Vision, which is a spell that allows him to view certain areas at a distance. He saw Yokohama being interviewed in the principal's office. The guy from the police department said that there are many people getting the characteristics of an adventurer, and he added that the existence of those people is invaluable. Then, he asked Yokohama, what is his level and job class? Yokohama answered that he was a level 6 thief. The police officer said that if that was true, then he is close to the level of someone in America who is level 8 and is currently holding the highest level that they know. Then, the police officer asked if Yokohama recognized the device he is holding since he was level 6. Yokohama answered what was it, indicating that he doesn't know about it. The officer explained that it is a scouter. It was a rare item found in the dungeon. He continued to explain that usually people can only see their own level on their palm, but if you use the scouter, you will be able to see other people's level. He then asked Yokohama to show his palm, but Yokohama suddenly exclaimed that he is sorry. He lied about having the characteristics of an adventurer, and that he hasn't gone inside any dungeon. He was only pretending to have it because everyone started to compliment him. The officer left, saying that it was too bad. Then he said that after graduating, if he gets the characteristics of an adventurer, he should contact him. Ryuji was surprised. He thought he could make some friends because you can only see your own level. He never thought that there was a way to verify the claims. Back in the dungeon, there was a bunch of people forming a line on the dungeon management office. The office prohibits entry of the people that doesn't have the characteristics of an adventurer because it would be dangerous for them. The guy asked his companion named Kunimi, what should they do? Kunimi replied back to his boss, saying that he shouldn't worry. Since he has all the papers necessary to enter the dungeon, the office personnel confirmed and let them through. Kunimi's boss was amazed at him. He then proudly said that a lawyer uploaded a video of how to get into the dungeon, so he prepared everything that was necessary for them to enter. They both looked at the palm of their hands, but to their disappointment, they didn't have the characteristics of being an adventurer. Kunimi tried to be optimistic, so said to his boss that they shouldn't be discouraged and do their best. He said that even if they don't have the characteristics, they can still beat the first level of the dungeon. His boss was worried if it was really okay for them to continue. Kunimi replied that he watched someone's video and he has learned so much about it. His boss said that it was amazing that someone has made a video about the dungeon. Kunimi replied that it is more like a memo or a story, since cameras can't be used inside the dungeon. Few minutes later, Kunimi was troubled. He is looking at the map, but it seems like the map and the dungeon layout wasn't matching up. His boss asked what was the problem, and he replied back that it was nothing. He figured that he can't let his boss worry about these things. He thought that it may have been a small mistake from the uploader of the video. They shined their flashlights around and they saw a huge slime. They ran away and tried to lure it into a dead end, but they were cornered by another slime. Kunimi shouted that it was different from what the video said, because in the video, they said that there wouldn't be any slime in that place. In an apartment somewhere, there's a guy looking at his channel, saying that his video's views are skyrocketing. Then a girl asked him, was it the fake video of the dungeon that he made yesterday? He replied that it is, then he proudly said that the video is getting a bunch of views. The girl said that the people watched it must have been stupid, and the guy replied that most of the people who watch it was fired office workers or those that came from a bankrupt company. These two are just feeding from the misfortune of other people with no regards whatsoever. Back in the dungeon, Kunimi and his boss are still having trouble with the slime. Kunimi then shouted that he will distract them, so his boss could run away. He then smashed the slime using a baseball bat, but the bat just melted. He threw it away to get a new weapon, then suddenly...
The slime suddenly grabbed him. His boss shouted that he wouldn't be able to face his family if he becomes the type of person that abandons their subordinates, and above all, he doesn't want Kunimi to die. Kunimi shouted, worrying for his boss's life then. His memory flashed into his mind. It's been 3 years since he met his boss. He was wandering from place to place after getting released from the juvenile center. The people treated him badly, since he has a record of coming from the juvenile center. They were acting as if he had stolen money from the cash register. But then that's where he met his boss. At first, he thought he was just another one of those people acting as if they were good guys. He remembered when he was delivering some products, his old acquaintances were pestering him, asking him about taking the products inside the truck and selling it for themselves. But he stood his ground and said that he was rehabilitated, and he said that he doesn't want to do those stuff anymore. They beat him up until he can't move. Then the other guys asked what should they do about the truck. Kunimi shouted, begging for them not to touch the truck. But even after begging, they burned the truck. He thought, his life is over. He thought he will get fired again from work or worse. His boss entered the room asking if he was okay. With a resolute face, Kunimi apologized for what happened to the truck and product. But his boss told him that it was okay. They have insurance and funds that are set aside just in case situation like these happens. He said that next time he shouldn't put out the fire by himself again. His boss added that they can buy a new truck, but they can't replace him, so he should take good care of himself. At that moment, he thought that his boss was definitely a good person. Back in the dungeon, Kunimi started to regret getting his boss in danger. He regretted believing the fake video that he watched. He started to pray. He prayed to God that if he really does exist, he begged to save his boss's life. Suddenly, the slime bubble burst open. Their cores were cut in half, releasing both of them the slime's grasp. It was Ryuji wearing a face mask. He arrived just in the nick of time. Kunimi asked if his boss will be okay. Ryuji replied that he shouldn't worry and that they will both be okay. After Ryuji finished treating their injuries, Kunimi thanked him, saying that they would have died if he hasn't arrived. Ryuji replied that he was just passing through. Kunimi asked for his name, but Ryuji said that he wants to stay anonymous. Then Ryuji gave them some advice in the dungeon. He said that the place they were was the spawning point of the slimes, and that if they planned to hunt them, then they should lure them one by one 30 meters away from there. He then said that it's better to keep each other close if they plan of hunting together. After that, he said his goodbyes. Kunimi was left wondering with his boss. He thought that there are people who get killed, even when they're in the police department. And yet, he just knocked the slimes in one strike. He wondered who that guy really was. And this marks the end of Chapter 2.
Like and subscribe, and click the bell icon so you can be notified for future updates. For other videos like this, click here. Thanks for watching.